Hello! We'll see if I'm actually like at the appropriate loudness when I start, because we have been having issues with that the past couple weeks. Oh, Guthrie, I'm so glad that you are here on time. I am here on time. We did not do the thing that we have a few times recently where we sneakily add time to the clock before the stream starts. Welcome everyone. This is what month is it? May? May? Is it the first or the second Saturday in May? Who even knows at this point? Uh we lived through another week. Things are opening back up in some parts of the world and shutting completely back down in other parts. Um, the donut we have today is in order to talk about all the various ways in which Americans might be getting extra money they didn't know about is called bacon brown sugar, and it is a chocolate donut, however, and I don't normally like chocolate. However, this one, the flavors seem to work well. Last time I had it, I did not have it on the stream. I had it as my buy one, get one free at a time when I had them off screen. And I was like, this is actually good. I will have it on a stream. SK says it's March, always March. Accurate. It is actually been the longest March of all time. Thank you for the compliment, Josie, for the shirt, especially because I 100% did not iron it before this and I could probably use it. Yeah, we have officially entered crop tops and high-waisted skirt season again in Portland, which is mildly unnerving considering that it is March 2020 still. So I'm not really entirely sure how I'm going to handle that, but yes. Today, I want to talk about why I got $1,438.65 randomly deposited in my checking account this week, and why you too, if you are an American taxpayer, may also get unexpected money in the coming weeks deposited, or maybe already did. The reason I thought this would be a good live stream topic is because despite staying pretty on top of the general personal finance and business and tax news, this came as a complete surprise to me, and I expect there are many other people that might be in that category and might not realize that there is extra money coming to them. I definitely know because it actually took me several hours to figure out like why exactly I got it. Initially, I was worried that the IRS had overpaid me and I was going to have to pay them back with interest. I was, of course, slightly spiraling about this. And I was searching on Twitter and I saw a lot of other people that were trying to figure out where various deposits they had gotten had come from. And the IRS is extremely overwhelmed right now. So a lot of us got letters last week about money that we actually received back in March. That was like, hey, we've sent you a stimulus payment, except that it arrived back in March for a lot of people, but the letter didn't come until 2 months later, so. SK says, yesterday snow, tomorrow 25 degrees Celsius here. What's the German phrase? April willst du mal macht or something? I can't remember the proverb, like, April will do what it wants. I wasn't even properly translated. I can't remember the idiom, but yeah, it's all over the place. Hello, Mom. It's Mother's Day this weekend and my mom is on the stream, so I feel like that is important to acknowledge. Hello, welcome. I was wondering if people weren't going to come to the stream because we are we started doing the Saturday night streams at a time when no one had any Saturday night plans whatsoever. And if you did have plans, definitely the only plans were sitting and watching things on the internet, whether or not it was like virtual board game nights or just sitting in your house. So now that some people are getting back to what resembles more normal summer life, I've been kind of questioning if we should stick with the 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern stream. I know that I know that for the Australians, that's irrelevant because it's Sunday morning for you, and probably Sunday mornings will continue to be about as chill of a time. But oh yes, April der Macht was will. Yeah. The I guess it isn't actually April, is it? I thought it was April because I have no sense of time anymore. I have a coworker who seems to be maintaining a better grasp on time than I am, which she lives alone, and I do not know how she's managing to maintain a better grasp of time, but she's always like, "Oh yeah, it's on Saturday," or something like that. And I'll be like, that doesn't tell me anything about how far it is from the current date, what month it's in, anything. Like, I have lost all sense of time. I think she might be the exception rather than the rule now, though. I definitely don't feel like I have any sense of time. I had no idea it was May. I feel like I'm living both in the present and the past. Time has lost all meaning this year. Do people want to hear about my tax refunds, or do you just want me to eat a donut and we'll never talk about it again? I'll talk about tax refunds before I eat the donut. So a lot of people are like normalized to the fact that, a lot of folks will get their tax refunds usually after April 15th, which is tax deadline. Here in the States, you can usually file anytime between like January 15th and April 15th. Last year, tax day got moved to July 15th. And this year, or June 15th, I can't even remember. This year, it's moved to May 17th. So there is still time to file if you have not filed, and file on time. That being said, a lot of people did file already, especially because there were so many changes to the tax code so last minute, and most of them were very advantageous for low and middle income people. And tax refunds were, like, actually filing your taxes were a way to trigger a lot of the various different stimulus payments here in the US, because we decided to use the IRS, our tax agency, in order to get money out to people. And because of that, the tax return system is being used to essentially shore up a bunch of different things. The other thing to know is that the IRS is extremely overwhelmed. They aren't normally tasked with getting payments out to every single American, let alone constantly refiguring out how much people owe, don't owe, all of that. And additionally, what they had to do is, for people like me who had relatively uncomplicated taxes, they still had to run my taxes again to calculate how much they owed me to get me back. So I'd gotten all 3 stimulus payments, on time. I was not owed any, repay of of stimulus. For a lot of people, you may be getting a deposit because your 2019 income was too high to qualify for any of the 3 stimuluses, but your 2020 income, once you filed your tax refund, actually was. And so the IRS is finding a way to get that money to you. And for some people, that was because they had already filed before the American Rescue Act passed in March. And then for other people, this is because they filed the recovery rebate credit. And if you file the recovery rebate credit, which you can still do, it's essentially a form that you do with your taxes. It will tell them, like, hey, I didn't get the stimulus payment for whatever reason. Maybe my income was too high in 2019. Maybe you didn't have my info on file. Maybe, like, it just totally lost you whatsoever. Maybe you didn't have to file taxes in the past because you didn't have taxable income, and you hadn't filed. Well, you can file for 2020 in order to do the recovery rebate form and get your stimulus payments, even if you don't have tax liability. And so for a lot of people, they are getting stimuluses that they should have qualified for in 2020, but the IRS did not have information yet that said that you qualified. Another reason is that some people might be getting what are called plus-up payments. And plus-up payments are for people that they maybe earned, so the threshold for the third stimulus, the one that came in when Biden was in office, was lower than the threshold for the previous two. So if you were right on the edge based on your 2019 taxes, so say you made less than $100,000 or less than $80,000 in 2020, but in 2019 you had made more than $80,000, you would have been phased out of the last stimulus payment based on your 2019 income. Let's say you filed after that. What the IRS is going to do is go, oh, actually, you did actually qualify for that third stimulus payment, and they will send out to you a plus-up payment. And the plus-up payment is the IRS's fancy name for just, we are making good on the economic impact payments, or the stimulus payments, as they have that. So the other thing that is the most common and is affecting 7 million estimated people is that a lot of people had already either prepaid their, they got unemployment, because obviously unemployment was a huge burden for a lot of people last year. There were a lot of people who received unemployment income who had taxes taken out of it. However, in March, they passed, it's part of the rescue bill, they said the first $10,200 of unemployment income per person is not taxable in the year of 2020. Because of this, some people are owed extra payments back. About 7 million people are owed extra payments back in order to pay them back for taxes that were already withheld, or taxes that they had paid when they filed their 2020 tax return, not realizing that this was going to be part of the bill. If you are in a married filing jointly couple, and one of you or both of you received unemployment income in 2020, it's going to take longer to get those unemployment tax refunds from the federal government, because they are still, it's more complicated because each person qualifies for the first $10,200 of unemployment income. However, that's the limit. And then after that, it is taxable income. And because of that, there is more calculations to be done, including comparing against state unemployment tax filings. Essentially, the IRS is very stressed out and has a lot of things to do. So every week they are doing deposits of as they get through reprocessing various people's taxes. Denise says, well, crap, I completely forgot about taxes. Oops, and thank goodness. I know that's the thing, when the deadline has changed, when the deadline was the same thing forever and then suddenly it changed completely differently 2 years in a row, it's really hard to play around it. Also, I will say, Oh My Dollar did not do a tax month this year, and we normally do it every year, and therefore you must use us to decide to remember that you need to do your taxes. It is worth filing this year, even if you technically you do need to file if you do owe taxes. You should file, but it is worth it. There are so many goodies because of the attempt to lower the economic burden through the American Rescue Package in there, and there is a lot of stuff that's tax deductible that isn't tax deductible in normal years. So Latitude says, is May tax month now? It is for 2021, I guess. Latitude says, I had to watch the rocket launch. What's the donut news? The donut news is that a donut is a vegetable. I haven't eaten it yet. It's okay. So I didn't qualify for any of that. Oh, and then the last but not least would be that some people might qualify for stimulus payments because they had dependents in 2020 that were not on their 2019 taxes, and they would also be getting plus up payments from that. So those are the main things that people would be getting. So it would be getting stimulus payments that they didn't previously get, either due to bank troubles or they didn't qualify based on 2019 taxes or whatever. It would be getting about 7 million people are going to be getting the UI tax refunds, which is if you had already paid taxes on the first 10,200 of unemployment income for 2020, you will be getting that back. You should file your taxes. Personal finance advice from Oma Dollar. Correct. I mean, I have helped a lot of people that have like not filed in years, and you can fix it, but it is expensive and time consuming and stressful. So it's best to file. And even if you do owe and you're afraid that you won't be able to pay, this is like, I see a lot of people who avoid filing their taxes because like they're paid under the table. You know, I do know some people who are war tax resistors, which is like a different category. Be very organized if you're a war tax resistor. But they're just like afraid to file because they know they're going to owe money and they're like terrified of that. Here's the thing, like not filing that return is way more, like that's technically a criminal violation and it causes a lot more problems than actually knowing what you owe. The thing I will say is, as far as people to owe money to, the IRS is actually one of, if you are not a mafia boss lord, the IRS is genuinely one of the best creditors to work with. They are very good with payment plans. They will work with you step by step. That isn't as true necessarily for state tax departments, which you also have to pay taxes to generally. But I will say they will put you on a payment plan. They will automatically give you a payment plan, and they will help you work through it. And it is not that bad. So don't be afraid. And it might not be as bad as you think. I know a lot of people, it's like, it's the same thing as like, I don't want to look at the bank account balance because if I don't, like the ignorance is bliss thing, like if I don't know about it, then it's not real and I don't have to deal with it. But here's the thing, like information is power when it comes to taxes because you can actually make a plan. But yeah, I know a lot of people like nannies that are essentially like, I haven't paid taxes in years. I've been getting paid under the table, but now they want to like go to school or something like that, or they're dancers and they get paid in cash and they haven't been filing. And it is better to know what you owe and make a plan than it is to avoid it. So I made it. Have we donutted yet? No. It hasn't been eaten, but it's actually chocolate. But I've tried it off live stream and I actually do like it. So it is a brown sugar bacon is the like combo. But the bacon is made of coconut because it's a vegan donut. So Latitude says, awkward time to reveal that I am a mafia boss lord. I mean, then you probably know more about tax avoidance than I do. Joe says, I should have bacon on my Mother's Day pancakes. Good call. Oh yeah, it's already Mother's Day there. I was going to say, I didn't realize that Mother's Day was the same in Australia as it is here because it's different in the UK. And I guess you would have stick with a lot of the UK holidays. I guess maybe it's like the Commonwealth situation. So I didn't realize it was the same there. But happy Mother's Day. Dean says, I know someone who is head in sand and it's not good. Think that actually takes more energy than sorting the bill, to be honest. It kind of depends, but I will also say that, like, especially if you're low or middle income in the States, there are a lot of resources to help you with free tax filing. AARP's Tax Aid is the largest volunteer program in the country, and they will help you work through it. You may need an enrolled agent if you need representation at the IRS. Like if you owe several years of back taxes, you may need what's called an enrolled agent, which is kind of like, they're not a lawyer, but they're like someone that is able to represent you on your behalf to the IRS. And they are worth it. And you can find skilled, helpful people that will help walk you through the steps. So, but it's often not as hard as people think. So I didn't qualify for any of that. I did not receive UI last year. I had already paid my taxes. I received every stimulus payment at the time. I'd already got my refund. I'd already got my third stimulus payment. I was like, what is going on? Why did I get this random $1,438.65 deposited in my bank account? And it took me a while. Like, at first I was like, clearly this is not intended for me. I shouldn't qualify for this. Could not figure out why. And I was like, I wasn't really Googling. I just assumed I wasn't owed it. And then like a couple hours later, I was like, I have an idea. And so I dug up my tax return from 2020 and I remembered something. And then I double checked on the IRS's website. And you might also fall in this category. I do think it is a smaller category of people. There's about 5 million people getting the plus up payments, which are like you are owed more stimulus than you got. And there's about 7 million people getting the UI tax refunds. This is a much smaller category, and they actually don't know 100% how many people are going to be owed it. So if you were on a health insurance marketplace plan in 2020 and you got the advance premium tax credit. So health insurance marketplace plans are healthcare.gov or your state's exchange. And these are the commercial plans you buy. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is only stuff that you are purchasing through healthcare.gov. If you are below 150% of poverty level, then you, or up to 400% of poverty level, you would qualify for some subsidy assistance based on your income. So for me, initially, based on my income for 2020, I qualified for $70 a month of assistance towards paying for my health insurance. So my health insurance was like $300 a month, and I myself was paying $230. However, each month I was getting a premium assistance from the IRS to make it more affordable coverage for me of $70. It actually wasn't true for the entire year. It was a little more complicated than that. At the very beginning of the year, I had a much lower estimated income, so I was getting over $200 for 4 months of last year. I was getting over $200 of premium credit, and then the rest of the year I was getting $70. So I knew that my income was going to exceed it, the amount at which you qualified for the premium assistance. Because for me, it was like you only qualified for premium assistance as a single person up to, I believe, initially $38,000 a year. And I made more than that last year. So I knew I was going to have to pay back every single dollar of premium tax credit assistance that I did. And theoretically, if you know that your income is going to go over, you can toggle on and off whether or not you get that premium assistance. However, the first time I toggled it down because my estimated income went up, where I like went in and I typed it in, it restarted my contract. And I was with my health insurance company, and I was extremely worried it was going to reset my out-of-pocket maximum because they can choose to do that. And because that caused me such panic, I ended up just deciding I was not going to try to reset it again because I did not want to run that risk because I'd already hit my out-of-pocket maximum with my health insurance, and they could not give me any guarantees that they weren't going to do that. So all I did was like, I put $70 a month in like a little savings, category, and I had that money ready to pay at tax time. I filed my taxes pretty early this year. I'd already got my tax refund in early March. And when I got I had already calculated to repay that. I filed form, I think it's 8563. Is that right? I don't have it written down. I think it's 8563, which is the advanced premium tax credit form that you have to file usually if you get any kind of subsidy assistance on the health insurance marketplace. And for some people, they choose not to take that credit at all monthly. And I have an Oh My Dollar episode on like choosing whether or not you should take it monthly or you should wait. For a lot of people, if you have highly variable income and you have the cash flow to make it work each month, it can be better to just deal with it at tax time. However, 2020 was super special because what they did as part of the American Rescue Plan is they said that they are not going to make you pay back any premium tax credit, advanced premium tax credit that you got on a monthly basis, even if your income went over that amount. And the reason that they did this, thanks very much to, oh crap, what is his forum name? Someone on the forums explained essentially the thinking behind this, and I totally get the idea, like why they had done this. Like, in theory, it sounds great, but I was sort of like, that seems like kind of unfair, because what about the people that like were, it just seems like it was like a little unfair, like, because some people were getting these benefits and others weren't. And obviously it's mostly affecting people whose income went up that year. But the thinking behind this was that there were a lot of lower wage workers that might have earned more due to hazard pay last year. So they were getting an extra $2 an hour or something like that. And that might have put their income high enough that they actually were going to end up needing to owe money at tax time. So I wasn't in that category. I was not getting hazard pay. It was actually just that I ended up working 2 jobs. And because of that, my income went over the amount. And so because I had already filed and I didn't know about this, I'm in the camp of people that the IRS is going back through, and every single person that had already, paid back their advanced premium tax credit because their income was too high, they're just giving that money back. And so the exact amount that I had repaid because my income went over that amount was, on my tax return, it was rounded to $1,437, but it turned out to be $1,438.65. And that is why I got that back from the government. And you might also be in that category. The thing I do want to emphasize is that you should still file that form if your income ended up being quite a bit lower last year than you expected. So if it had, if your income was lower and you are actually owed more money back because of the advanced premium tax credit, or because you did not take it last year on a monthly basis like I did, then you still do need to file that form and you will get the money back with your taxes, just like you had in previous years. That's not a 2020 specific thing. But still file that form, just like, you know, if you get your health insurance through the marketplace, they're constantly emailing you and being like, here's your tax form that you need. So Joe says, goodness, health insurance is broken in another way I didn't know about. Yes, I don't even know which thing you're referring to, but correct. It caused me so much stress last year because they don't have to hold on to your out-of-pocket maximum because it like resets a new contract. And the amount of the health insurance marketplace being like, oh, that's up to the health insurance company, and the health insurance company being like, oh, yeah, you just have to talk to the marketplace. Like, I was just like, no, I'm not going through this again. I would rather just save the money. So anyway, I have a couple episodes where I've talked about like what to do with windfalls. I'm very fortunate that this amount of money, it's definitely enough that it's like a windfall to me. It's like half of my monthly salary, but it's not so much that it's like a life-changing amount of money, nor do I need it for any sort of essential reasons. So I ended up kind of splitting it up between donations, savings, and then travel, because I have hopefully hope to be able to do some travel now that things are opening up a little bit more and I'm fully vaccinated. So, and then possibly getting some extremely nice espresso cups for my house, which I have learned that pottery is, like a whole new category of consumerism I know nothing about, and that I'm not intense enough, I think, for the world of pottery. But I did find some like nice pottery on Etsy. But everybody was like, oh yes, you can just commission a local potter to make you the espresso cups you want. And I was like, I was proud of myself that I was trying to get something nice and not just ordering something off Amazon with lead paint in it. So the espresso cups are also not, they're like the definition of a non-essential item. Like we have a teacup that I got at a thrift store 10 years ago that we use in an espresso cup, and it's fine. It's just not great. So I kind of want to get, it seems like a small everyday luxury that I will get some value in. The tiny kind or like serious mugs. I mean, they're espresso cups, so they're tiny. But I'm hoping to get like seriously cool espresso cups. Like true coffee nerds and tea nerds are very into like the type of drinkware that you drink out of, like how it's crafted does influence the taste. So I'm like just this shy of seeing if I can justify it as a per bin purchase, like a business expense. But there's part of me that wants to feel like this is just like a fun personal life expense. So, yes, they are small. They have to be at least 2.25 inches wide, though, or like 7 centimeters wide, because we had a tiny espresso cup that I also got at a thrift store that was so small that it doesn't actually work with our espresso maker, because our espresso maker like kind of goes to the side no matter how much I descale it. And because of that, you need a certain width. But it can't be taller. It can't be any taller than 3 inches. So, reminds me, I need to check on the price of the Pusheen donut teacup. Yeah, I also thought about just buying the Pusheen donut teacup, but I think that I'm gonna get some nice pottery. So that's what I'm doing. I'm spending $1,400 on pottery. That's not actually true. Most of it went to savings. It was pretty boring. I'm already maxing out my 401k, and it's not self-employment income, so I can't put it in my SEP. So I was like, oh, okay. Does anybody have any questions about tax stuff or how American healthcare is broken? I love to talk about how American healthcare is broken. Or do you want to talk about how ads were put on the forums this weekend or this week, and it was like a giant cluster? Because we can talk about that too. I guess I'll eat a donut now. And if people want to ruminate on tax questions, we can. So this is the donut. It has a chocolate base like underneath, but it's like a hard chocolate base. And then this is coconut bacon, which is essentially, I think, when you just put like liquid smoke on coconut and you bake it, and then it kind of imparts a flavor to it. And then this is a brown sugar glaze. It smells incredible. It's very hard to talk when I eat. It's like such a dense donut, it just like coats your mouth. A donut tax is being had. It's such an incredible mix of flavors. I am not usually a chocolate fan, but the chocolate is a very low-key kind of chocolate. It's like, because I'm one of those people that likes the smell of chocolate, but I don't really like it. Like, I feel like once I have it, I need to kind of wash my mouth out, because it like the aftertaste isn't that good, and I don't like the chocolate glaze. But this is kind of like, there's so many other flavors going on. It feels like you just drank a hot chocolate and then it's in the other room or something while you're eating it. Or like someone is like lighting a hot chocolate scented candle next to you while you eat all of this other flavor. This is delicious. What is our review from our donut tax? What is the review from the donut IRS?
Bacon bits are really good.
Not having had bacon before, I can't compare this to real bacon. But from what I've seen of bacon, I don't think this is anything close to actual bacon. However, it's smoky coconut, so it's great. It's very dense, but I actually think that's great about it. Like, normally I really like fluffy donuts, and I don't like the, like, kind of cake-style donuts. But this has such good flavor combinations going on. This is, like, the kind of flavors that I just don't... I'm a pretty good cook, but I'm not the kind of cook that's like, oh, let me combine these exotic flavors. I'm like the kind of cook that's like, here are this, I use these spices, these same like 5 spices in everything I cook. And this is like complex. There's a lot going on. Wait, your deductible was only 1545 latitude? I have questions. Guthrie says, tax question, best course of action if not able to schedule AARP to help at this stage in the game. So, if your taxes are not super complicated, and you just owe for 2020 or need to file for 2020, it is pretty easy to file your own taxes as long as you feel like it isn't going to stress you out too much. Like, gather your documents, especially if you have, like, a fairly normal situation, like you're just, like, a standard freelancer with 1099s, or you have a regular W-2 job. It shouldn't be that complicated, and you can use a bunch of free tax filing forms. So I've used H&R Block for years through their free tax file, which the way to get free tax filing, if your income is under $74,000, is you have to go to the IRS's website and then click the link from there. If you go directly to tax filing websites and then you click and then you go onto their page, you will not get the free tax filing. The free e-filing comes through the IRS. If your income is over $74,000 and you're very confident and have a pretty easy situation, then you can actually use the fillable forms that the IRS has. However, the fillable forms, I would say, are a little bit more confusing. I would say are a little bit more confusing. You have to have a lot more confidence level to use those. And if you are, so what I ended up using this year instead of H&R Block was that I actually used Free Tax USA, or USA.com. And I also used it by going to the IRS's free e-file website and clicking the link over. They are a little bit more bare bones than H&R Block, but I will say I found them pretty easy to use, and they still worked great for me as a freelancer. The reason I didn't use H&R Block this year is H&R Block now is charging you money if you have to file a Schedule C. I guess that is not included with e-file, and I was not willing to pay H&R Block $20. I did have to pay Free Tax USA to file my Oregon state return. Rather, I could have just mailed it in, but I paid them $9 or something to file my Oregon return, and I was fine with that. And I found them, like, very fine. This not sponsored. If you are in the camp where you know you're going to have to pay because your income is high enough to use those tax things, but you still don't have like particularly complicated taxes, then my next recommendation is to use coupon codes, because the world is abundant with coupon codes right now. So if you use like a service like Swagbucks or something like that, or Honey, you can like get 20% cash back on the tax fees and stuff like that. So that's what I would recommend. It's for most people, it isn't that complicated. I think a lot of people think their taxes are going to be more complicated than they are. That doesn't mean that there aren't people that have complicated tax situations year to year. If you moved states a bunch, if you are self-employed, if you had stock options, or capital gains, or, any of those kind of various things, those can make your taxes complicated, in which case it can be helpful to ask for the help of a professional in that year. Just if you are someone that is going to end up owing a lot and are intimidated by the situation, it can be helpful to try to find someone. That being said, you are probably unlikely to be able to pay a tax professional at this point. They are all extremely stressed out. A lot of them had to redo people's taxes because all of the tax code changed in March. So there were people that they had already gotten their taxes done, and then they had to recalculate everything. And in that case, if you are not able to hire someone, what you can do is estimate what you owe. If you did not just have it all withheld this year, estimate what you owe, send in a payment to the IRS, and file an extension. And the extension, I don't know what it is going to get you to this year. Usually it is October 17th, so it's possible it's going to be December 17th this year. But also I'm not totally sure because they keep changing everything and I cannot keep track anymore. So Latitude says, I have Medicaid because I'm very unemployed and a student, and I will be getting SNAP over the summer also, which is very exciting. Ah, that's great. Also, if you qualify for federal work study, you should be able to get SNAP year round. So as long as you are low income. So if you're a student and you work, I think, only 5 to 10 hours of federal work study during the semester, if you qualify for federal work study, then you should be able to get SNAP year round. Fun facts. Medicaid did not exist for students when I was a student, and I'm sad about it. Oh, they're so good. This is a very good donut. It's very hard to explain how complex the flavors are. The brown sugar glaze, I think, mostly tastes like sugar, but in a different way than the other donuts I say mostly taste like sugar. Oh yeah, I should rate this donut. It is 5 out of 5 donuts. This is a 5 out of 5 donut.
IRS needs more tax.
The IRS is supposed to be giving me taxes back, not stealing donut taxes. Latitude is getting SNAP over the school year too. Yay! It is a big score. It's worth it. Anybody have any other questions about the crazy U.S. taxes, or you just want to talk about the disaster that was trying out advertising on the forums? As long as I can say things that will not break contracts. So people have been pressuring me to put ads on the forums for years. Oh yes, that is the ARS. So people have been pressuring me to put ads on the forums for years, and I initially thought, oh, this is a great idea because we really do get a lot of traffic, and I see like income reports from other bloggers that get like much lower traffic than the forums do and make a lot of money off ads. I really struggled for a long time of finding a ad network that would take me, that was willing to work with me. So my big thing was that I only wanted to work with an ad network that was willing to work with me and understand that revenue was not my number one goal, that user experience was my number one goal. And the ad network I finally found that was willing to work with me was like, you know, they were like, yes, you're setting the pace. You set your revenue goal. We can dial things up and dial down. We can change it. And, you know, I had been in talks with them actually for months before we actually got anything through. And they had, you know, sent me like a mock-up of what it would look like. You know, they had like kind of wireframed it out like on a version of the page with live ads. And it seemed to be fine in that initial test. And then they kind of put ads on the forum without it was not ready for prime time, in my opinion. And the great part, here's what I will give great gratitude to. The reason I went with an ad network was that I knew that I could buy and sell and manage my own ads, but the amount of time that it would take for me to do that and cultivate and maintain the, you know, relationships with the advertisers, like all of that is a lot on top of actually just like running the forum and the show and also being someone that has a full-time day job. And it wasn't worth potentially the financial upsides to me. So I was like, oh, I only want to do this if we can do this in a way that isn't going to take up a ton of my time. And so that's why I wanted to work with an ad network. You know, they have people whose whole jobs are courting advertisers. And I also was like, the advantage of like, we're supported by patrons. The forum software that I have is connected with Patreon and allows me to block patrons from seeing ads in theory. However, the implementation of the ads was not ready for prime time, in my opinion. And it was very clear the developers did not sandbox it appropriately and didn't actually test it. And 80% of our visits out of the like 300,000 page views we get per month are on mobile. So if you are not actually testing what your ads are like on mobile, because they showed me what the mobile version would look like, but they didn't test it. And it is a forum. You interact with it. And it did not, like, the very unfortunate position was that for a lot of people, in typical kind of developer stance, I'm sure they were only testing it on a desktop, on the fastest connection, on the fastest computer, and they were not considering the fact that the average forum user and viewer is not someone that is doing this on, you know, a super beautiful, super beautiful, super fast internet connection, blah, 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 blah. I will also say there were only 2 ads, like, I only had 2 ad units, like, that I agreed to, which was, like, top and then a bottom pop-up. And the bottom pop-up was making it so that even on desktop, you could not post without closing the ad, like it was in front of the post box. And then, once everybody complained about that, the developers fixed it by putting it behind the post box, but that meant that then you couldn't add pictures because that is another thing that pops up over it. And it was like, the other problem was the ads were cycling. They felt very aggressive. Somehow 2 ad units felt like way more ads because they weren't video ads. That was always the thing. I was like, I will never in my life have audio playing video ads with, like, you know, when you go into like a news website and you just feel like you're being attacked from every angle, because guess what? Media is very bad at figuring out how to monetize, and that's what we've come up with. But like I when I first talked with this network, I was like, I cannot have any video ads. But they were having like such rapidly cycling GIFs and they were moving through advertisers like every 30 seconds that it kind of felt like there were video ads all over the page. And, you know, I already had like downgraded how many ad units I was willing to show. And then I was attempting to block them from all the patrons, which is like around 20% of our forum users, like our forum visits, I think roughly come from patrons, although that's actually a really hard stat to do. That was like based on some back of envelope math. But like it was, they estimated that I would make between $200 and $500 a month. And if I wanted to like up the ads, I could. What I really wanted was static ads, maybe that occasionally changed like graphically. What I really wanted was text ads. I wanted them to just like be the kind of thing you scroll past and move on. What I really would have preferred that they match the design aesthetic, like I'm able to design them myself, but I knew that was going to involve a lot more labor on my part. I frankly was extremely unhappy with the experience. Here's the thing. I'm very lucky that I went with the ad network that I did go with, because they only lock you into a 30-day contract, and most ad networks lock you into a 1-year contract. So I am extremely lucky that I did go with the network that I did, because I essentially had to have a discussion with my manager, my sales manager there, who I'm still talking with, because it still technically is in the testing phase. But I had to like go to him and be like, this is not ready for prime time and we cannot have this. This is not the user experience, and this is not worth $200 to $500 a month to me. And there were a lot of very nice oh my dollars. Like, here's the thing. We had the most supportive community for ads. Like, people were like, oh my gosh, it looks like ads are appearing. I'm so like glad the forums are being monetized. And like people were so supportive. They were making memes about the ads. Like, I really appreciated how much the Oh My Dollar community understands that it like does take time and money and cost to run the community, and like was willing to like have some of their attention be consumed by ads in order to support the forums. However, that was not acceptable. Like, the first thing I said when I wanted to do ads was that I wanted, first and foremost, for them to not interfere with user experience and to keep with the values of the forums. And this was not the experience that I wanted. And it was very disheartening to me, because it kind of felt like there is no good way to monetize in this space. Like, you end up either having to take brand deals with brands that are kind of undesirable. Like, you know, I lost a lot of money in the 2018s and 2019s by refusing to take money from crypto. I was unwilling to take blockchain ad money, particularly because the kind of ads that they wanted me to sell were they wanted them to be host reads on the air. Like, I was just not willing to do that. And, you know, I definitely lost out on some money, but that was okay to me because it was in keeping with the values. It's a little frustrating that this is not in any way a call for people to be patrons. What I am trying to say is, like, it isn't, just to know that it's more complex than just like get ads, because we are big. Like, we have like over 250,000 page views a month. Like, we are a desirable advertiser target. And we also, like, not to get too deep into the demographics, because you aren't supposed to show those until people pay you, but like, our demographics on the forum are the most desirable and marketable ad demographic. So people want the attention of people on the Oh My Dollar community from an advertiser perspective. We are the household decision makers. As far as spending money, we are in the age and demographic range where we are the most likely to spend on certain kinds of things that tend to have the highest CPM, which is the cost per mil, how much people are willing to pay per 1,000 views or 1,000 listens. And it's frustrating because it isn't that simple. I'm still running the ads on the WordPress because essentially I get so few page views on the main ohmydollar.com site. I'm fine with just doing that to run out my contract. But I am not having them on the forums right now. And like, I'm looking into other options, including possibly talking with Ethical Ads. And Ethical Ads is an ad network that does privacy-focused ads. So They have a lot of very strong stances about like the type of ads that they do, and they do a lot less of that direct targeting where you feel like the ads are like in your house. But right now they only work for developer-focused websites, which we are not. We do not fit that demographic. However, the underlying technology for ethical ads, there is potential of actually expanding that into the personal finance vertical. And I know that there are other personal finance websites that would like to be part of an ad network. So I could probably bring the publishers online. There are some other options to do. This was the low-hanging fruit, essentially. And the low-hanging fruit has now been tried, and it was not quite as sweet as we had hoped. And so we are moving to slightly higher on the tree, but we have to get a ladder to get there. One of the things we can do is like, I can design some ads. We have software to run ads on the forum. That's like when you see these live streams advertised on the forums, or you see like, kick us $2 and support us on Patreon, or you see like ads for Purbin. I usually do text ads with emojis, but I can do like other kinds of ads and stuff like that. And I think it actually might be kind of fun to design some ads. And I'm part of a referral network where I get like an affiliate program for high value personal finance influencers. And I push very few of those deals out because a lot of them are not the kind of brands I want to work with, but some of them are. And I feel like as long as I can do my contracts well about the way that I design those, I might be able to do some ads around that. So, Latitude says, what you want to project is wonderful. From the heyday of webcomics. Oh man, it's like there were so many comments going on and I was just on my thing. Dean says, it's such a supportive community. I must get back to being part of it. I mean, here's the thing. I don't want people to feel guilty if they're at a place in their life where they're not spending all their time on the forums, because I feel like sometimes people are like, they get overwhelmed with real life and then they like feel bad about coming back because they're like, I'm so sorry I abandoned you. Like, not everybody at all moments in time is going to be at a phase of their life where they're spending a lot of time on an internet forum. Largely, the way that you are spending your days and what kind of job you have can often dictate whether or not you have the free time to spend on the forums. But we would love to have you back when and if you have time and energy for us. So, Latitude says, can't believe I missed the memes. I think they're still there, so you can find them. I think the funnest part was seeing what it chose to advertise to you. Dean says, blockchain ads for blockchain, I'm guessing. Maggie, oh, you have a tax question. Regarding the IRS fee file program, do you have a pick for services if your AGI is over 39K? No, there's no fee if your AGI is below $74,000 a year for a single person for the free file program. So you will not have a fee for federal tax filing, but once again, you have to like go and follow the link for free file from the IRS's website. Don't go directly to like H&R Block and, you know, any of those other websites, TurboTax, any of those. Don't go directly to those websites. Go to IRS and follow the links from there to those websites. It's very dumb, but they're very good at lobbying, and that's why. Yeah, maybe I should take the ad spots that have now been vacated on the forums, and instead I will put ads that link to the IRS free filing and remind people there's a tax filing deadline. This will just be the public service that I will do. I could make money from referrals to tax prep software, but I think I would rather direct people to the free file page. This is the fundamental problem. I'm so desperate to save you all money. I hate to, you know, I'm just not enough of a capitalist. In the end, like, one, please don't worry about Oh My Dollar. This was an attempt to see if there were other ways that I could monetize that would be in keeping with the values of the community. This was not what I wanted. There are other ways to monetize within and outside of the advertising, and we have the wonderful support of patrons. Additionally, I sell merch through my store, so if you need cat books or stickers or anything like that, that supports it. And then I additionally do speaking, and I get ads from radio. So, and I have an ad network for that, although that's a different story that I am definitely not allowed to talk about. Latitude says, would you consider doing like a Jumbotron type of message where regular people just pay you to run ads, read stuff? Oh my gosh. I mean, that sounds amazing. Yes and yes, I believe. Yes, yes, and yes. She does a thing where she allows people to, like, she encourages creators to buy, like, sidebar ads from her. And she's, like, very upfront and they're, like, very reasonably priced. And I actually would love to do that. That's a great idea because I could price them like very low, but it could just be like a fun, cool splurge thing to do. And it could either be because you want to push people towards your Kickstarter, your GoFundMe, or your online espresso cup shop or whatever it is, or just because you want to, I don't know, spread positive messages. Subject to editorial control by me. Advertise the existence of our cats? Yes. I would pay $10 to show Soda Pop to everyone. I love that. Oh. Dean says, life has been very sideswipey. Oh, that's it's a terrible phrase. Sparkly ball ads. I mean, I have lots of sparkly ball artwork that I can immediately turn that I have the rights to, so. Oh, Dean, you ate a donut. We need the donut review, please. Thank you very much. Pixie Dust says, Brian will advertise his cats. Yes. I support this. I love this idea. Just advertise your cat on Oh My Dollar. I bet if we wanted to get really fancy, if you gave advance notice, I could get our illustrator to bundle it. So like you would pay like more, but you would also then get artwork of your cat by Fiona. But we need more lead time, obviously, because she has to like design it. But I love that. That's great. I mean, we're not trying to get rich from this scheme. So if you know, people pay me $5 to run pictures of their cats, this also sounds like a great Patreon perk. Like your cat on the Oh My Dollar forums. Can I show my dog watching Oh My Dollar? I love it. It doesn't have to include Oh My Dollar, just so people know. I think we can just have animal pictures. The donut score. Yeah, what is your donut score, Dean? Do remember, our donuts are more basic than yours, and this was from a supermarket, but still. Guthrie says, I will 100% do this. Do you think I should offer it as a benefit to Patreons? Like, all patrons are, like, above a certain amount? We could trial it with the patrons, maybe. I feel like I don't give enough patron perks. And, like, I would kind of love to offer this, and then maybe I can share the lesson of trying ethical capitalism where what you have to sell is people's attention and how awful that was, and I don't want to do it again. 3.8 out of 5 is the rating for Dean's Donut. I would totally pay to advertise my cat, and you should be careful how you word this perk. Oh, okay, this is a little off topic, but hey, it is economic news. This week, Twitter started to roll out a feature, a tip jar feature, which is like where you could just like pay, you can just tip people for tweets, and they're not taking a cut of it. And Twitter is one of the last social networks to allow nudity, pictures of cats, if you will. And because of that, Twitter is like, there are a lot of people who came to Twitter from Tumblr when Tumblr banned nudity. And then there are a lot of people who advertise their OnlyFans on Twitter. And OnlyFans takes a cut, as does Patreon. Apparently about 30% of Patreon's creators are like adult industry, you know, adult content. And they all take a cut because they have to. Twitter doesn't need to do this tip jar thing, and so they're doing it and they're not taking a cut. And because of that, they because of that, I think there's a very strong possibility that this tip jar thing is going to be craftily used by, like, sex workers in order to, like, make money off of OnlyFans without having OnlyFans take the cut. Like, because there's DMs and things like that, and it could be like, I'll DM you custom pictures or whatever if you send me a tip. And so I don't think this tip feature is going to be long for this world. That's my theory. Latitude says, no, because I don't pay you enough money monthly to advertise my cat, I think. I don't know. I think all cats deserve to be advertised. I'm sorry. I'm a bad capitalist. Capitalist. Dean says, I've been in a donut desert for so long that it didn't really matter. So is like the score actually higher than a 3.8 out of 5 just by like virtue of last donut? Colorless cats. Anyway. There's people that are very excited about things, but I don't know what they're excited about. I don't know if it was something I said or something that I can't see on the screen. Anyway, that was the Oh My Dollar experience in advertisements this week. I appreciate everybody bearing with the extremely frustrating complications. So it wasn't just about the cycling ads. Like, they were literally like they were causing a lot of errors. We can handle a lot of errors because, like, most of the errors, like, they were causing a lot of console errors for us, but most of the console errors were not, like, fatally crashing the website. But what was happening is for a lot of users, like, while the ads were loading, it was making the text jump everywhere. Brackenjoy was, like, excellent and actually, like, sent me screen recordings of how bad it was on her phone. And it was so bad it looked like she was scrolling in the screen recordings, but actually it was just, like, constantly scrolling up and down as ads were loading. So it was not ready for prime time. It was not appropriately QA'd. And I realized I'm not a big account. Like, I didn't want to cover my website with ads. There are a lot bigger websites out there that would be clients for, you know, this ad network. And because of that, I don't think I was a developer priority, but I'm disappointed that didn't work, but I now know. Like, here's the thing. I think I had for so long seen how other people had, like, monetized with programmatic ads and been like, oh, I would love some of that easy money, you know, some of that AdSense money or whatever. And I had exactly the concerns that came to pass, but part of it was that you'll never know until you try. And now that I have tried, I know I am confident in the reasons I chose not to do it. And luckily, I can get out of this contract. So, yeah. SK says, lots of caveats with the tip thing, like PayPal chargeback fees with game streamers already had issues with, and it leaking PayPal addresses by default. I know, I saw the, like, address thing, which is just hot mess express. Additionally, the chargebacks are going to be a huge problem. There is a reason that Patreon and PayPal and credit card issuers and OnlyFans, there is a reason that they take a percentage, because there is a huge amount of work that goes into processing those things, and chargebacks are a real concern. And so, yeah, I don't think it's going to last very long. Like many things Twitter does, it was a half thought out feature, and they put it in, like, one of the worst places on the internet. So the good news is Twitter's also very good at rolling out things and then taking them away and acting like they never really existed. So, not quite as good as Google is, but they're up there, so. It is true. You can just, like, not go wrong with a classic donut in the same way. This is my life all the time. it's constant sirens these days. We live on an emergency route. The other day, there must have been a giant fire down the street because in the middle of my workday, there were sirens going by like every 30 seconds. And it was so continuous that the traffic was just like continuously stopped waiting for all the emergency vehicles to pass. It uses the PayPal normal ordering flow and you do not set no address needed. It assumes you are buying things and the seller needs an address. Yeah, that makes sense. I have a lot of, PayPal has made it a lot better. I'm on both sides of PayPal in that like I have PayPal as an option, even though I don't want to, as a business. And then I also have used it obviously like everyone else, I feel like on the internet to pay people. The thing that PayPal has had a lot of trouble with addresses in the past, and that is largely because they have to take such a strong, like, anti-money laundering stance and everything, and because of that, the whole addresses, seller, friends and family situation, I mean, I've had problems where, like, I have had things shipped to addresses I have not lived at for 10 years because I cannot get PayPal to, like, change my address properly, and it'll, like, change it back, so. PayPal charges you, like, $20 for chargebacks. I didn't realize it was that high. It doesn't, yeah. Oof. So, donate $1, charge them back. Person you tipped has a $1 bill. Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, what are people excited about this week? Now that, are they excited about the new Oh My Dollar Advertise Your Cat on the Forums program that we have come up with? I should have just brainstormed this all with you earlier, clearly. I am excited that I am having a meeting about possible Oh My Dollar planner for 2022. And it might be happening in reality, so I'm very excited about that. That's probably the main thing I'm excited about. Also, I'm still actively seeking a name for the Oh My Dollar Cat's Guide to Money read-along program we're doing this summer. I'm thinking about calling it Summer Money Club, which is not a great name, but I can't come up with a better one. So, if you have a name for a summer thing, I think we're going to start it June 1st, so. Ooh, Cheryl is street legal. Hair appointment Monday. Yay, street legal. Very exciting. Wait, are you not street legal when I'm going to see you tomorrow at the park? Because I feel like I should wait for you to be street legal, even though it's Mother's Day. But, catvertising, yes. I'm very excited about people advertising their cats. Denise's cat, Oliver, is very excited about this. I am just so excited to see people advertise their cats. Latitude says, I graduated from community college. Oh, yes! Congratulations, you graduated. It's so exciting. And you're going to have SNAP this summer. All the things. Food and education. What else does one need? Emily says, what was the pizza reading program called? So, what is the pizza reading program? What is this pizza reading program, and how did I get involved with it? Are you just talking about, like, summer reading program at the library? Because our summer reading program was just called Summer Reading Program. Summer Money School. I mean, maybe it's just best to go with the classic name. The Pizza Hut Summer Reading Program. Oh, I did not participate in a corporate sponsored summer reading program. I participated in like my public library's version, and we definitely did not get pizza at the end of it. And now I'm kind of disappointed. This is what happens when you rely on public institutions instead of corporations to encourage children to read. Pocket book it? Book it? Book it. Pocket edition? What? is happening? I feel like we're not great at this whole cash camp, money camp, one hot money summer, summer sizzler, cashola camp. Denise met Oro today. Oh my gosh, that's very exciting. And you got hot beverages. I went to a park and I saw their whole face because even vaccines in there are awesome and it is great. That is so great. That is fabulous. I feel like I've met Oro in real life and I have not. That is how much like I feel like I know Oro because I've known Oro for so long. It was called Book It, and that's why we all sound bananas right now. Oh, I see. Oh My Summer. The problem is Oh My Summer, for people that don't know Oh My Dollar, literally explains nothing. I really wanted to name this planner brand Oh My Planner, but someone that in South America already has a planner called Oh My Planner, and I am mad disappointed. So... oh, well. Okay, well, y'all, I think this was good brainstorming, but I don't think we have 100% come up with it. Hot money summer was my, like, original idea, but the thing is that hot money, because, like, hot girl summer, but the problem is that hot money is, like, an actual financial term, and it's not a good thing. So I didn't really want to use that. MC Planner? What does that stand for? Oh My Summer, Dollar Edition. Oh My Summer Dollars. Oh My Summer Dollar. We'll get there. We're almost there. I gotta announce it soon though, so I can't really put it off much longer. I already kind of pushed back the deadline because I originally thinking I was gonna start it on March 17th, which is tax day. And then I kind of decided that it's not a real, like, that's not like a real date people have internalized as tax day, so it's not a very good promo day. / it gave me more time to procrastinate on the rollout. So... Dora Summer Dollar. Oh my. Dora Dollar Days. I love that. But I feel like there's only a certain subset of people that will appreciate that. I'm sorry. I'm just like shouting. This must be terrible when mic'd. Oh My Dollar. Summertime. Kitten Dollar Camp. Personal finance with a dash of body glitter. We're doing great over here. Do you like that my business is like gonna be 5 years old this year and I'm still just using YouTube live chat to crowdsource naming products? Doing great. I do feel like we're getting somewhere. Are you asking about Dora's hand-paw coordination? I think her hand-paw coordination is fine. She's great at it. She pretty much doesn't know that she has one eye, as far as I can tell. Anomalily went to finance school, so you don't have to. Summertime. What if I just call it summer school? We're just back to summer money school, but I honestly don't think summer money school is a terrible name. I'm pretty excited because I am pretty sure that I have sourced patches that you get if you complete it. I'm not 100%. I'm trying to figure out what the minimum order I can do is, but I'm very excited. At the very least, we'll have stickers for completing the summer school. My zero-eyed cat doesn't seem to be aware he didn't have any eyes. Yeah, they're very like, they just adjust to whatever. I have a friend who like found out her cat was blind and her like older cat had gone blind. And everyone was like, "How did you not know?" And she's like, "Here's the thing, he's been blind for a while. He like knows the layout of the furniture and like, they're cats. They're very adaptable, just like humans, just like humans." It's really society that ables people with disabilities, and there's a lot less society for them, and so they're able to adapt a lot more easily, because a lot of disabilities are just disabling society. So, summer school with dollar signs? How is that not taken? I'll have to see. If that's not taken, I'm gonna get it. I like that. I like that a lot. The only thing is it is a little like mostly USD centric and other currencies that use the dollar sign. But the vast majority of my listeners live in countries that use dollar signs because it's Australian, Canadian, and US. And then the UK's, maybe I can put the pound on the end. It could be summer, school, and then the L is the pound sign. This is a way to make your hashtag look like pure spam. Cats do not live in society. A profound thought from Oh My Dollar. Other thing I'm looking forward to this week in very lighthearted ways is that I got an absolute trash book out of the library. Like, proudly trash. It is a YA novel where it is based in an alternate reality where instead of a democracy, America had a royal family. Like, George Washington became the first king of America when they won the Revolutionary War, which I guess is less of a revolutionary war. It is just a war for independence. It's just utter filth. It's like about the teenage American equivalent of the Princess of Wales, like, and her romances. And it's like watching an episode of Gossip Girl in an alternate reality, and it is delicious. And it just involves like a little bit of creative thinking, so you feel like a little less like you're just reading like fan fiction for characters you don't know, because because occasionally you have to be like, oh, what would it be like if we had a Duke of Boston? But mostly it just makes me feel glad that America is a democracy and we do not have royalty. And also enjoying the utter trash that it is. Latitude says, "Oh no, those books." Are you specifically referring to? I'm like 100 pages into the first one, so I don't know if it gets worse. I will say there is no critical analysis of like how race and institutional racism and the history of slavery play into this country, and like where the genocide of indigenous people, like it very much is an alternate reality and a whitewashed alternate reality. But it is nice, delightful trash, and I read a lot of very heady nonfiction, and like, about like demand pricing strategies, or I've been reading a lot of depressing stuff about healthcare lately. Like I'm plogging through a book right now that is about like a healthcare economics textbook, and I need some trash on the side. So I'm always open to more trash. My preferred genre is not actually YA. It is career women in their 30s where the central point is not romance, but workplace dramas. So if you have recommendations of those, I particularly like them when they take place in other countries and in cultures that are not my dominant culture. Like I just read a good one like last month that was based in Nairobi, possibly inspiring me booking a trip to Kenya. But I love learning about like how office cultures differ in different cities for the proverbial career woman in her 30s living in a big city. Yes, the American Royal books. They are books. They are books. I read all of Twilight. I read all of Twilight because I was working with teenagers at a time when that was very popular with teenagers. And I read them so that I could have something to talk with them about. And then I kept reading them because I was working with teenagers that were experiencing homelessness and in transitional housing. And a lot of them had come from abusive environments and were likely to statistically end up back in abusive environments. And in reading the Twilight books, I was like, this is an abusive, emotionally abusive relationship. And I thought it was very important to be well-versed in all the books so that I could have discussions with teenagers about why they should not think that Edward or Jacob was a good model for healthy relationships. And that is why I read them. That is my noble reason for reading the Twilight books, because God, I say, reading all 4 of those Twilight books was a slog. Like, the first book was like kind of fast candy, where you're like, okay, it's like some world building and like I'm concerned about it. But then by the 4th book, you're like, the writing is bad, the story is all over the place, but I felt like I had to complete it at that point. So the good news is that they're very uncomplicated, so you can breeze through them and they're in giant text. So what about Oh My Summer? The thing is do you think that people are going to get that it's about money when it has a dollar sign in it? Because some people just do that to be cool, like Kesha. I don't know. A simpler summer school with signs is more aesthetically pleasing. This is starting to look like a TikTok algorithm workaround. The problem is I don't understand TikTok algorithm workaround, so I wouldn't know. What is the book club theme? Number 1 Ladies Detective Agency. Oh! That is good. I do want cozy mysteries, except that they are office dramas instead. 100%. Like, I don't really like mysteries that involve, like, murder. I just want office dramas. I love books that are, like, largely about how someone wants a promotion. And, like, that they're dating a string of, like, uninteresting people and there is no central romance and the end plot is that they get the job they want. I wish that this was a more common genre of like chick flicks as well. Chloe is now watching Dora and barking. I'm sorry. The LiveJournal Sparkle version of Twilight is delightful though. I don't think I know that. I was like off LiveJournal by the time by the time Twilight came out. I must have really. Oh my God, things are happening with summer school. I don't think this is gonna work for me. OMD Summer Money Boot Camp. I mean, that's once again, the goal of this is meant to be so a couple years ago when the book came out the first time, I did a read along where every week you would get the chapter and you would get assignments and we would feature the cat of the week in the newsletter, and there was like an e-newsletter, and then I themed the episodes on Oh My Dollar to be about it. This year I want to do the same thing, but because it's been 3 years since I did that, but additionally, so it would be for going through and reading along the book. I'm going to lower the price of the ebook to, I think, 99 cents on both Amazon and my own website. And then I'm going to, and then also do shipping out books as normal. And I'm also going to do companion videos each week. So it's essentially a free online course. So it's more for people outside of the Oh My Dollar audience than it is necessarily for people inside the Oh My Dollar audience. But there might be people that would be excited to do it that weren't around for the last read along and maybe do want to spend 8 weeks like kind of getting their finances together. Assignments. I love assignments. Cat of the week. So the cat of the week each week has been, I I already have them all. They are the cats that are featured in the book. Let me dig. So each chapter has like a cat as the header. And each of these cats are based on real cats from people that backed the book. And I have the reference photos from the cat, and then I have facts about them, like what kind of financial thing they most like to do and where their favorite napping spots and activities are. And yep, the train cat is the best cat. Well, the train cat is my childhood cat. However, that cat is not in the book. That cat is just on stickers, but I always pitch the book as personal finance for people who aren't software developers, but that's hard to turn into a pithy course title. Yeah, I always pitch it as like it's personal finance for that's very non-judgmental, because I always say that it's like it's meant as an intro, but it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be young. You just have to be someone who kind of likes step by step and needs something very calming and happy to kind of work through. And it's also particularly good for people in like creative fields, I would say. But Latitude says, pressuring all of my friends into this. Pixie Dust says, I hate homework, but I love currency signs replacing letters. You don't have to do the homework. That's the thing, is like the homework is optional and heavily encouraged, but you don't have to do it. And also, I don't think this read along is going to be aimed at you. I'm just going to say that. Is that the business cat? Here, this book changed my life. Well, Guthrie, you are a great advertisement for the book. And if you know what I should probably do? I should probably email everyone that's gotten the book before or like left a good review or sent me an email and ask them to recommend the read along to anyone that they think might benefit from it. Because I think the thing is that there are a lot of people who want to recommend the book, but it's very hard to recommend a finance book to friends unless they directly ask you, like, why do you seem less stressed out about money now? But I feel like since there's an event going on, it might be easier to recommend it to people. So, and it's very low key. It's like a free event. It's a free course. We used to have a course that I sold, and quite frankly, finance courses get like outdated pretty quickly, and I would rather just do it as free content and sell people physical books. So yeah. Train cat is wearing a tie. The train cat is great. Here, I'll get out the train cat stickers. Where is she? I have so many cat stickers, y'all. Yeah, here is train cat. She's going for business. Summer of Funds. That's a really, really good name. I like that. Do other people like that as much as me? I really like that. Oh. Hey, I want to advertise for this read along and I only have $10. That's great. I don't think you weren't part of the community last time that we did the read along, I don't think, right? So, you could do it as well. Was the R a symbol for rubles? No, the rubles isn't an R, is it? I don't think it is. Our Russian is not up in the middle of the night and attending the stream right now, so we don't get the Russian to confirm. Unfortunately, Vika's not awake. I'm assuming she's not awake. Maybe she is awake, but just not at the stream. Emily came up with it, not me. I just yelled it. Oh, thank you. Sometimes you do have to stream the chat if it's really going. We're way over time, y'all. I mean, not that we have any official end time, but I don't have anything to do. I don't do anything on Saturday nights. But I don't know. I hope this stream was fun for you all. I am very excited for everybody. Thank you all for the wonderful suggestions. I think we may have just had a corporate brainstorming branding meeting, so thank you very much for being my brain trust. and for all of your help. I think Summer of Funds is a really good name, but now I need to Google that to see if anybody else has it. But if they don't, I'm gonna do it. So the currency as letters was very satisfying, but I feel like maybe would result in like me getting my account shadow banned. Yes, you are part of the Oh My Dollar corporate branding brainstorming meeting. I'll back you up. I'm a legit business. I just had to write my business name on a citizenship application, and like it was like, do you have a registered business? And I was like, oh my god, I do have a registered business. Wow. I also can't figure out, my business is also registered in the EU, because I have an Estonian e-residency so that I can operate legally in the EU. And I can't figure out if I need to put the registration there twice, since it's like the same entity, but it's anyway, you all don't need to know this. But, yeah, look forward to the Summer of Funds, which I really like. Yeah, it near rhymes, which is actually even better than totally rhyming, I think. So. Also, if you put dollars in Twitter, you get weird. If you put dollars in any kind of database, it gets bad. This is like, there's a very common XKCD comic that gets sent around for anybody that works in SQL databases, which I do at my day job. But it's a little Bobby Tables, and it was Robert, comma, drop table, and an open bracket, and essentially it's a school office calling, being like, did you really name your child drop table? You've just destroyed all of the school records for all of the students. And the mom says, yes, little Bobby Tables. That's why you should sanitize your database inputs. OMD, new cryptocurrency. Oh my god, should I start a cryptocurrency? That's the only way that I'm willing to do crypto, is if we have our own cat-based currency. It has more meanings than you think about. Summer of Funds does. I kind of like that it's like Summer of Love, but it also sounds like fun, and yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it. Oh, Latitude says, I am certified to work in SQL, pronounced squirrel now. If you are certified to work in SQL and you are looking for a job, we are hiring an entry-level position as a data tech at my company. Very nice, queer-friendly company. All work is remote right now, and we have hired people remotely, although I think there's an expectation eventually you might have to do 4 hours a week in Portland, but I don't think that's going to come back because we've hired people in DC and stuff. So I don't know if you're looking for a job. I know you're going to school next year, but it pays well. Nice queer-friendly company, doing good things. Use some of your SQL. I think I posted it on my journal, but we've also talked about pottery for like so many posts it might take forever to find the job posting. And my prof at the beginning said you could pronounce SQL any way you like, and I made sure he regretted it. That's brilliant. Oh, that's so good. I'm a little sad that I don't get to spend as much time doing SQL in my job, because I feel like I was once pretty good at SQL, and now I am like mediocre at best, just because I do interact with it, but I don't do a lot of building new queries. I do a lot of doing the same things over and over and over with SQL. Okay, now we are 100% like just way procrastinating on leaving. So I am so glad you graduated this week. Congrats on being street legal, and happy Mother's Day, Mom. Happy Mother's Day to the other people that are here that are mothers. and are located in countries where it's Mother's Day this weekend. And everybody, please take care of yourself this week. I forgot what other things people are looking forward to. And thank you for spending some of your Saturday night at the Oh My Dollar corporate branding retreat. We appreciate your input. You all are paid a $0 salary as the Oh My Dollar corporate board, but you do get donut reviews for it, but no free actual donuts, just virtual ones. All right. Have a good night or morning. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.